Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we're on chapter 17, text 17. And we attempt to read the Sanskrit, although we are not perfectionists at this. We just try. Shraddhaya Paraya Taptam Tapas Tatri Vidam Narya Apalaka Kasiva Yukte Satvikam Parikaksate. This threefold austerity, practiced by men whose aim is not to benefit themselves materially, but to place the supreme, is a nature of goodness. Text 18. Satkara mana pujatham tapa damhena kaivayat kriyate tad iha proktam rajasam kalam adveram. Those ostentatious penances and austerities which are performed in order to gain respect, honor, and reverence are said to be in the mode of passion. They are neither stable nor permanent. Sometimes penance and austerity are executed to attract people and receive honor, respect, and worship from others. Persons in the mode of passion arrange to be worshipped by subordinates and let them wash their feet and offer riches. Such arrangements, artificially made by the performance of penances, are considered to be in the mode of passion. The results are temporary. They can be continued for some time, but they are not permanent. Text 19. Mudha grayena mano yat pidya kriyate tapa parasayat adana artham va tat tamasam yuda hertham. And those penances and austerities which are performed foolishly by means of obstinate self-torture or to destroy or injure others are said to be in the mode of ignorance. There are instances of foolish penance undertaken by demons like Hiranyakasipu, who performed austere penances to become immortal and kill the demigods. He prayed to Brahma for such things, but ultimately he was killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To undergo penances for something which is impossible is certainly in the mode of ignorance. Text 20. Datavayam iti yad danam diate nupa karin dese kali cha patri cha tad danam satvikam shmitam. That gift, which is given out of duty at the proper time and place to a worthy person and without expectation of return, is considered to be charity in the mode of goodness. In the Vedic literature, charity is given to a person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. There is no recommendation for giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is always a consideration. Therefore, charity is recommended to be given at a place of pilgrimage, at a lunar or solar eclipse, or at the end of the month, or to a qualified Brahmana or a Vasnava devotee, or in temples. Such charities should be given without any consideration of return. Charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion, but if a poor man is not worth giving charity to, then there is no spiritual advancement. In other words, indiscriminate charity is not recommended in the Vedic literature. Text 21. Yat tu pratyo pakaratham phalam yudhisa va puna diyate cha pariklistam tad danam rajasam smritam. but the charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood, it is said to be a charity in the mode of passion. Charity is sometimes performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom, and sometimes with great trouble and with repentance after. Why have I spent so much in this way? Charity is also sometimes made under some obligation at the request of a superior. These kinds of charity are said to be in the mode of passion. There are many charitable foundations which offer their gifts to institutions where sense gratification goes on. Such charities are not recommended in the Vedic scripture. Only charity in the mode of goodness is recommended. Text 22. Adesa Kale Yad Danam Apatre Vyas Cha Diate Asat Kritam Avajanatam Tat Tamasam Yuda Hertham. And charity performed at an improper place and time and given to unworthy persons without respect and with contempt is charity in the mode of ignorance. Contributions for indulgence in intoxication and gambling are not encouraged here. That sort of contribution is in the mode of ignorance. Such charity is not beneficial. Rather, sinful persons are encouraged. Similarly, if a person gives charity to a suitable person without respect and without attention, that sort of charity is also said to be in the mode of darkness. Text 23. Om Tat Sad Iti Nirdeso Brahmanas Tri Vidya Smrita Brahmanas Tena Vedas Cha Yajnas Cha Vihata Pura. From the beginning of creation, the three syllables Om Tat Sat have been used to indicate the supreme absolute truth, or Brahman. They were uttered by Brahmanas while chanting Vedic hymns and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the supreme. It has been explained that penance, sacrifice, charity, and foods are divided into three categories: the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. But whether first class, second class, or third class, they are all contaminated by the material modes of nature. When they are aimed at the Supreme, Om Tat Sat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Eternal, they become means for spiritual elevation. In the scriptural injunctions, such an objective is indicated. These three words, Om Tat Sat, particularly indicate the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vedic hymns, the word Om is always found. One who acts without following the regulations of the scriptures will not attain the absolute truth. He will get some temporary result, but not the ultimate end of life. The conclusion is that the performance of charity, sacrifice, and penance must be done in the mode of goodness. Performed in the modes of passion or ignorance, they are certainly inferior in quality. The three words, Om Tat Sat, are uttered in conjunction with the holy name of the Supreme Lord. Example, Om Tad Vishnu. Whenever a Vedic hymn or the holy name of the Supreme Lord is uttered, Om is added. This is the indication of Vedic literature. These three words are taken from Vedic hymns. Om Eti Ittad Brahmano Nedastam Nama indicates the first goal. Then Tattva Masi indicates the second goal. And Sad Eva Sumya indicates the third goal. Combined, they become Om Tat Sat. Formally, when Brahma, the first created living entity, performed sacrifices, he spoke these three names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same principle holds by disciplic succession. So this hymn has great significance. Bhagavad Gita recommends, therefore, that any work done should be done for Om Tat Sat, or for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one performs penance, charity, and sacrifice with these three words, he is acting in Krishna consciousness. Krishna's consciousness is a scientific execution of transcendental activities, which enables one to return home, back to Godhead. There is no loss of energy in acting in such a transcendental way. Text 24. Tasmad Om Iti Yudataya Yajna Dana Tapa Kriya Pravatante Vidhano Kakta Satatam Brahma Vadanam. Thus, the transcendentalist undertake sacrifices, charities, and penances, beginning always with Om to attain the supreme. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. The lotus feet of Vishnu are the supreme devotional platform. The performance of everything on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures the perfection of all activity. Text 25. Tad iti anabhishaya palam yajna tapa kriya dana kriya cha vivadha kriyante moksa kaksiba. One should perform sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from the material engagement. To be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. Acts should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to home, back to Godhead. Text 26 and 27. Sad bhavi sadhu bhavi cha sad iti eta prayujati prasate karmani tata sak chabat parsa yujati yashni tapasai dani cha stita sad iti ko yate karma kiva tad arthiyam sad iti eva hidyate. The absolute truth is that the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word sat. These words of sacrifice, of penance, and of charity, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pertha. The words prasate karmani, or prescribed duties, indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature, which are purificatory processes beginning from the parental care up to the end of one's life. Such purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. In all such activities, it is recommended that one should vibrate Om Tat Sat. The words Sad Bhavi and Sadhu Bhavi indicate the transcendental situation. One who is acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva, and one who is fully conscious of activities in Krishna consciousness is called Svarupa. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of the devotees. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. When initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the words Om Tat Sat. Similarly, in all kinds of yogic performances, the supreme object, Om Tat Sat, is invoked. These words, Om Tat Sat, are used to perfect all activities. The supreme Om Tat Sat makes everything complete. Text 28. Asradya Haya Yutam Datam Tapas Taptam Kritam Chayat Asad iti Yuchate Partha Na Chat Tat Prateya No Iha. But sacrifices, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme are non-permanent, O son of Pertha. Regardless of whatever rites are performed, they are called asat and are useless both in this life and the next. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it be sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. In all the Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instructions, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That will make everything successful. In the conditional state, people are attracted to worship demigods, ghosts, or yaksas like Kravera. The mode of goodness is better than the modes of passion or ignorance. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all three modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one, by the association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. And that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When the faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entities. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. That is the message of the 17th chapter. Thus end the Bhagavad Gita purports to the 17th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of divisions of faith. I'll pause there. You guys are on mute if you want to say anything.
So it seems to me that they keep on talking about the ultimate goal of all living entities and so on and so forth, and it seems to me that the thing that you are aiming to achieve is to stop the cycle of death and rebirth. And the only way to do that is to have this ultimate, have transcendental awareness and love of the Supreme, etc., as per this book. But it also seems to me as I read this that suppose that there are other lofty and worthy goals in life, and you can be you can attempt to be a good person and live according to many of these precepts without having the end goal of breaking the cycle of rebirth and death, without having the end goal of learning to, as this book says, love the Supreme Being. Which I find reassuring.
Yeah.
Because up until this chapter, for some reason, I was thinking, and maybe it's just how I was reading and understanding it, but I was thinking that, the only good life, really good life, is the one that ends up with some level of transcendental awareness. And in this chapter, it seems like, well, maybe you won't break the cycle of rebirth and death, if that's something you're concerned about, but you can still have a good life.
Yeah,
You just won't be one of that special elite group.
I think that's an important part of this. Like, it is rare. The Gita tells us it's rare for this to happen, but just, do your best. Even Arjuna is not trying to be this perfect yogi to break the cycle. But it's just it's creating a roadmap for us to become aware of the modes of nature and what's available to us. And it's like a roadmap.
Well, what's also interesting to me is that there are huge numbers of people in the world who have never been exposed to the idea of death and rebirth as a cycle.
Yeah.
And so, I'm reading Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, and he says right from the very start that his goal in life was to break that cycle. That from the very start, from the time he was very young, that was his goal. And everything, and he writes in the beginning, everything I do is towards that goal, and honoring the Supreme Being. So he's on this path, and he's on this path very consciously. But I think about all of the people who every social worker who works for New York City, Department of Social Services, who attempts to do good, who attempts to help people, who attempts to, to try to live a good life, and who may not even have heard of this. And it reminds me a little bit of some Christian precepts where you either live in the light of God or you don't. And if you don't, you might be a good person. You might end up someplace, like limbo or someplace like that, but you're not going to go to heaven. Period. Finish. You're not going to go to heaven. And it's the same kind of message for me.
Yeah. And there are some people that learn this and don't believe it either. Like that, like they may be aware that this is like that some people believe in this, but not everybody.
It's also, to me, still tied to too many rules and regulations. Do this, do that, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of scriptures have rules and regulations that put people in a place where they are conforming to the prevailing norm of whatever goodness is. And goodness, in an amazing way, has this has an outcome where it very often benefits a few people more than the other few people, either holding people in some kind of caste system or economically keeping people in line. It's so. And I will stop now.
All right, if anyone else has anything to share, otherwise I'll move us into breath work.
I was just going to say that they talked about service to others again, and I feel like we talk about that almost in every chapter, or a couple times in each chapter. Seems to be a very common theme in this book.
I think service to others is a huge part of yoga. It's called seva.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even here, like what Sue's saying, like there's so many rules and regulations about it.
Yeah.
Which
right. Like now they're saying, like, yeah. Like
that
you
if you
can't
do
just
service
help
to
any poor person.
That's right. You can't help an unworthy person, or you can, but that's done in a mode of ignorance. Or you can help people, but if you're not doing it with the goal to serve the Supreme Lord, if you're not doing it with the goal to serve the Supreme Lord, then it's rajas. It's that mid-level. It's not the top level. And and to me, it's
Right.
that I told you before, straight to hell. I'm going straight.
I was like, there's no hope for me. I mean, here I am, like doing my service for others. Like I'm offering to watch somebody's dog, and to benefit the dog, I'm coming to their house. I mean, there was a little bit of selfish motive in there because I wanted to float in the pool, but I could have like had them bring the dog to me. And like, but I'm not doing it because I feel like I need to do it for some higher source. But that's okay. That's where I am. I just have to accept that, I guess. As I watch Denver sleep here with my eye like closing.
And I have my feeling is I'm not just accepting where I am. I'm thinking, yeah, that's not bad. And I don't feel like I should feel guilty about being where I am and not being someplace else. Not that I feel smug, because I have enough things going on that I know that I should never be smug about my behavior, but I don't feel like I have to feel bad about my behavior because of this standard, of this particular standard. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, this is just one idea. There's tons of ideas out there. All right, let's do some alternate nostril breaths. So we'll sit up straight. If you want to do this laying down, you can too. Just make sure your back is straight. And just take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. You can keep your eyes closed or open. Just begin to lengthen the breath into the low belly. Let the belly button come out. As you exhale, pull the belly button down to the spine. Watch the breath move up and out through the nose. Try to relax the features on the face and the shoulders. You can stay right here creating this nostril breath, breathing in for 4 and then out for 4. Or if you want to take alternate nostril breath, you'll bring your right hand over to your face. You'll close the right nostril with the thumb. You can close the peace finger and the middle finger either into the palm or place it on the third eye. And you'll use your ring finger to close the left nostril. So closing the right nostril with the thumb, inhale through the left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Release your hand down. If you want to take a few more rounds, you can. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. You can set your own timer if you need. Bringing hands to heart center. Namaste. Have a beautiful day, everybody.